Hello, everybody. I am Jarrett Ross, the GeneaVlogger, and welcome to another GeneaVlogger live stream. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday for those who celebrated. I guess basically all the Americans out there and anybody else who might have celebrated around the world. Not sure if there was anything else going on holiday-wise around the world, but hey. Now today it's Black Friday, so tons of sales going on, and then Cyber Monday coming up. And so, of course, we got tons and tons and tons of genealogy sales. And I figured, hey, that might be a fun stream, kind of go through some of the different sales and stuff like that. And then I kind of thought, That's not a bad idea, because also people click through my affiliate links that help support the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. And yeah, it's a great way to support the channel just by clicking through my affiliate link. So if you don't know, just go into the description for the video. I have affiliate links there. I'm also going to try to post affiliate links in the chat as I talk about different stuff, because I have a whole bunch of different stuff right here that like I'm going to go through. Like I got actual like books and stuff that I want to talk about that are all mostly on sale. I did find, I think one of them I thought was on sale but wasn't. So yeah, I don't know. But first, let's go through some hellos. Got a little bit of a light crowd today, so I'll actually kind of chat with you all a bit today. So hello, Julia. Good to see you. Yeah, had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you go to my Instagram, you all can see the turkey I made. I'm the one that makes a turkey pretty much every year for my family, largely because I spent many years working kitchens as a cook and picked up some skills. So yeah. Hello, Bearvar. Thanks for joining, one of my wonderful Genie members. That's why you see that little symbol next to Bearvar's name. Helps support the channel, and you get access to some extra stuff. Just make sure, for all my Genie members, I should note, make sure to check my community channel, because that's where I usually post the exclusives and things like that for the members. And it always gets low amounts of clicks from my members. So I'm like always worried, like maybe they're not seeing it. Anna Tomaso, hello. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. And John Tyner, good evening. Thank you very much. It was a good Thanksgiving. I doubt you were celebrating Thanksgiving out in Ireland. And John DeChamps, good evening from Belgium. Oh, hello. Komt je out Belgia, eh? Yeah. Let's see. Stig, hi everybody. Our Scandinavian representation. Eve Cotton, happy Black Friday from super snowy Ontario, Canada. Just shoveled 6 inches and 15 centimeters of snow, with another 12 to 18 feet coming. Or wait, is that inches or feet? Wait, 6 feet, 15 centimeters. I don't remember what feet and symbol. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Although I get the feeling that one of those is wrong. I don't know. But I could be wrong. Ontario probably gets a lot of snow. Hey, good to see you. Evening, trying to find some Norwegian ancestry in Tonsberg. Cool. Okay, it was 6 inches so far, with another 12 to 18. Okay. All right. And Lightning, hello. We got Brian Nash from How We Got Here Genealogy. Hello. Good day, Brian. Good to see you. En Nick, goedenavond vanuit Groningen. Hier is het bijna Sinterklaas. Yeah. Geen Zwarte Piet. God, I'm reading your thing. My mom's 80th my mom's 80th this Sunday. Very cool. Well, happy birthday to your mom, John. Adam Biros, hello from Swindon, England. I was about to say happy birthday from Swindon, England. Still thinking birthday. But hello, Adam. Good to see you. And yes, 04 Lightning Ancestry DNA, only $29. So that's one of the things I have with me. Might as well kind of start talking about that. That's kind of one of the big ones. All the DNA companies are doing a bunch of big specials. So Ancestry DNA, they're one of the companies. I do have them linked below. They also are doing a big special for their memberships. Although I think one of the things that really annoys me about a lot of those membership things they do, or the discounts they do for memberships, is it's only for new members, which I kind of get. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It'd be nice if they did something that allowed for discounts for people that were already, members. So, yeah, there we go. I didn't realize that was a little off. Gerd, hello from Berlin. Hello. Thanks for joining. Bear Var, do you have an affiliate link for MyHeritage? So I don't have a official affiliate link with MyHeritage. I remember trying to get that set up at some point, and I don't remember what happened with it. I don't know. I should probably find out, because I don't know. But either way, I do have a Amazon link for MyHeritage, which I believe gives you the same discount. Gosh, I hate how they have this. MyHeritage DNA. So I can put that in the chat. So, okay. I don't know if this is as cheap as the full thing, though. So this is $33. Put this in the chat. But yeah, that's a good point. I need to get that set up. One of the hard things about trying to manage all of the affiliate links and stuff is the companies will change their affiliates, and then some of them will take the affiliate on their own, and there's always a cluster with it, and it's just a lot to just manage just the affiliate links. And if they change, it's a lot of work to go through and change all the affiliate links. And yeah, for the amount of work I've put into affiliate links and the amount of money I've made from it, it's really sad. Honestly, Nebula Genomics was the only one I ever really did pretty well on. Hello, person one. Thanks for joining. Our Skurlock. Hey, Jarrett, what's up, cousin? You inspired me to find some new Voz relatives on Genie. On Genie, my 12th great-grandmother, Agnes McCulloch, is related to you, buddy. Very cool. Very cool. I think I've seen you comment here below. Not sure if I remember the exact connection, but very, very cool. I don't recognize Agnes McCulloch, but that's definitely it's not a Sephardic name. So that must be a different line of yours, I guess. Yeah, feet. Okay, that's what I thought. Feet was single, inches or double. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Lori Allen, hello from NorCal. Hello, Lori. Good to see you. Toodaloo Fruitaloo. Hello in Texas, originally from Oregon. Well, good to have you. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen you in the streams. I feel like I remember seeing you a lot more before. John Deschamps, just for information, my Alf brother started to have Ross and Roos in Netherlands, has DNA matches. This might be a subject for our next consultation. Yeah, that might be. I will say it's doubtful that that's a connection to me because my Ross name was originally Rosenberg, and that family came from Suwałki, Poland, or I guess present-day Poland. I don't think it was Poland when they were there, or whatever you consider Polish. I forgot. Russian Empire, maybe it was then. But yeah, they were originally Rosenberg, but originally before that, they were Dratkowski and Chonitska, or Chonitsky, I guess, depending on males or females. But yeah, so still worth chatting about. Bervar, who'd have thought we'd see whole genome sequencing, albeit low pass, for just $25? Yeah, that's very true, which I should say I have been told by many people from MyHeritage, and Miko Cleland, who works at MyHeritage, told us in a recent live stream as well, if you do get the MyHeritage kits, wait until the new year before you send them in, because if you wait until the new year, it's guaranteed that you will get the whole genome sequencing then. So, yeah. And Eve, Ancestry DNA 64 Canadian. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, there's a lot of discounts going on. A lot of discounts. Yeah, okay, it's more expensive. Works out the same as MyHeritage charges packaging. Okay, so that's the benefit. I was thinking there's got to be something that they don't include, because I know there was a thing that a lot of people really got annoyed about with buying DNA kits from like CVS and Walgreens, because they would be seemingly a lot cheaper, but then it didn't include a lot of the postage, and that became a big issue. Like for a lot of Americans, when we get these DNA kits, it usually has the postage included, but I don't think that's the case for international. And I know I think I learned that the hard way in a stream where I was talking about that, or maybe it was a reaction, and I was kind of talking about that, like, oh, well, shipping isn't that big a deal. And then a bunch of people were like, no, it is a huge deal depending on where you live. And it's like, yeah, I kind of didn't think about that. All right. And Toodaloo Fruitaloo was interning on Fridays. Okay, well, happy that you're back. Happy that you're back. Not sure if you're interning still or it's just a day off because it's, Thanksgiving weekend, but yeah. And Antonio Deleche from the UK. Hello, good to have you. All right, so I think now that I've caught up with that, we already talked about Ancestry DNA. Continuing with the DNA themes, which we did already talk about as well, we have My Heritage DNA. They have the $25 kit. As Bearvar mentioned, if you get it through my link from Amazon, which I have linked in the chat, I think that includes the packaging cost, which My Heritage would charge otherwise. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, that's amazing how cheap these kits are. And there's a lot of other DNA kits. Every DNA kit's on sale. Those are the only two that I actually have boxes of. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have actual stuff to show on screen. But Family Tree DNA has a bunch of stuff on sale. Excuse me. And actually, I need to pull it up. So they have a whole bunch of stuff on sale as well. And if you are looking to do DNA testing through Family Tree DNA, and especially you're trying to do Y-DNA testing or mitochondrial DNA testing where you're trying to get there we go. All right. Where you're trying to get DNA matches, this is where you do it, My Heritage. And so they've got a lot of different deals. And one thing I should mention too, I don't know if I've mentioned it yet. For my merch, I have a Black Friday special going on right now. All you have to do is go to my store. I'm going to link the store in the chat. 15% off. It has I have the code on there. It's just GeneaFri. Code GeneaFri. And you get 15% off. So you can get, Gotta Find Them All stuff. I have shirts that say my cousins are cooler than your cousins. I have just some that are just logos and stuff. So if you want to help support the channel and get merch, that is awesome and super appreciate it. Beyond Family Tree DNA as well, there is 23andMe, and they are having a special. I don't remember if the 23andMe special is quite as good as the others. I think it's basically like the big benefit of the 23andMe special is that you can get the full health and family relatives. I forgot what they call it. What do they call it? Let's just pull it up for everybody. So for Ancestry DNA, it's $79 for the basic Ancestry, but the big one is if you get basic health and basic Ancestry, it's $99. And then I guess the advanced Ancestry and health, which I don't know what the difference between these two are, but this one's apparently the deal, the best deal. So $99. And for the 23andMe kits, those are also ones that I have to link through Amazon. So I have the Amazon link in the description, but just to add it for everybody else as well from Amazon into the chat. Gonna do that. Get the link. There we go. So there we go. So that's the one for 23andMe. And so that one's actually interesting. That one's $98 on not Ancestry, Amazon. So yeah. Okay, let's see. So continuing on, I'm trying to find where I need to be. There we go. So continuing on. So we talked about DNA stuff, but one last DNA one I want to mention is Embark DNA kits are also on sale. So for those who have dogs that want to do DNA testing for your dogs, I did this to confirm that my two boys were actually full brothers. And then we found a third full brother of theirs. Then we found a niece of theirs who was a daughter of the full brother we found, that full brother must have impregnated another dog while it was living out on the streets or somewhere else or whatever. But those kits are on a pretty big sale. I forgot exactly what they are, but I actually was able to link those through the shopping option in there we go. I'm going to pin it for now. So in the shopping option under YouTube shopping, you can click through there. And I should also mention, for all of the Amazon links, if you're going to buy anything through Amazon, even if not necessarily the DNA kit or anything, if you click one of my links and then go buy whatever you're trying to buy on Amazon, I still actually get a commission for that. And so you just help support the channel just by doing what you were going to do anyway. Because I really do. It really does help make it so that I can continue doing these live streams and stuff. Yeah, next year I might get a MyHeritage test. And now that MyHeritage has stopped allowing uploads and transfers, I think we're going to see, a lot more people are going to start buying the MyHeritage kits. And it really is such a useful company, especially if you're trying to search for anyone in Eastern Europe or South America or just kind of general Europe outside of the largely English-speaking countries. Basically you're going to get a much better representation of them on MyHeritage. Plus, MyHeritage still has a lot of tools that are some of the best, even if Ancestry has variations of those tools. But more than anything, MyHeritage has the chromosome browser, which that makes it huge because you can do DNA painting. Yeah, and so great example for Norwegian as well, Scandinavian. Best luck with MyHeritage. And this actually has to go back. This goes back to when MyHeritage. I'm going to stop sharing that for now. This goes back to when MyHeritage really started getting into the DNA game. They created distribution centers around the world to make it easy to send it around the world. So South Americans, Eastern Europeans, Scandinavians, it's just easier, cheaper. It made more sense to go with MyHeritage. All right. Let's see. Tulu Fruitaloo was interning for an archives through a grad student scholarship. It is completed. I'm happy to be back too. I think you mentioned that actually in the last stream. Now that you say that, I have a faint memory of that. So very cool. I hope it was a very useful internship. When you go into an actual archive and work on, learning how preservation works and stuff. I've never done that myself. I've gone on a few tours and things, and I've watched videos about preservation work. And I mean, talk about patience and meticulous work. It's wild. I don't know if you were doing restoration stuff or anything like that, but just even kind of, yeah, it's just cool. Just cool. Let's see. How to get rid off the pub that cut you when you speak. Already the 4th time since this session started. Oh, wow. You've already gotten 4 adverts. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I thought it was like supposed to do it for like everyone automatically a certain like amount of time between. But if you've gotten already 4 and I haven't even been going for 20 minutes really. So that's wild. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what you're asking. Ask again, John, or what got cut off that you're trying to clarify. Yeah, I have loads of Norwegian matches on MyHeritage, but I've not been able to find out how I connect to them. Yeah. Oh, very cool. All right. So continuing on. So we've talked about some DNA stuff. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about, I don't think there's actually a Black Friday sale, but it's a company that honestly, in a sense, has kind of a big meaning to me, because the person who runs it, in a sense, I kind of look to them as the person that helped me break through on YouTube. And that would be Useful Charts. So specifically Matt Baker. So I'm going to put my affiliate link in the chat for Useful Charts. So if you go and get Useful Charts posters and things like that, through that link, I get a cut back. And I just realized how glitchy I am. I'm going to try to fix that just a tad. I think is that better? I think that's a bit better. A bit better. So, posters from Useful Charts are so awesome. I have these 2 that are unopened. So European Royal Family Tree West, timeline of European history. And beyond that, Matt also has a lot of other cool stuff. And the way that his site works is that if you get like multiple posters and multiple things, you get more discounts. Then they also have other stuff on discount. This is also, I have the first version of his book. I think he has newer versions out or other versions as well. It's pretty cool. It comes with like a map inside it, and I'm realizing that the green inside is getting mixed up, but he's got like all these different charts and stuff that are really cool that like fold out. So I shouldn't try to fold out the whole thing, but you can kind of see. So yeah. So definitely check out Matt's website, get some stuff there. I don't know if he is running a discount or anything for Black Friday, but keep your eye out. Maybe it will. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff on there beyond, like, he has a lot of family tree stuff. So if you're really into like royal family trees and you're into kind of like historical stuff too. So like, the timelines are really cool. But he also has other stuff like he has the alphabet, the poster like of the alphabet changing. He has an etymology poster of like life of like various animals and stuff. And actually here, let's pull it up. So he's got a lot of stuff: biblical timeline of world history, evolutionary tree of life, a lot of really cool stuff. And then here's the books. So I have timeline of world history, although like I said, I think I have the older version. So that one's the newer version. You can see how it's kind of, I think it's a newer version. I think it is. Unless I don't know, maybe he just had multiple covers. But yeah, and then if you want any foreign language versions, they have a few. It's like a Spanish, French, and German, I think. So, let's see. Oh yeah, useful charts tree of matrilineal dynasties of Europe is fascinating. Yeah, I remember when he was telling me about that, and I don't remember how much he told me about it like before he released it, but he was really hyped up because he was like, I am pretty sure I have discovered something that nobody has discussed ever, and like I can't find anyone talking about it. And I remember when the video came out, I was like, okay, that is actually pretty cool that he was able to discover that. And yeah, I don't know if he have a poster of it up here. Yeah, I'm not sure. He might have it in one of his royal family tree posters. But on his site, he also has this free stuff area where you can download tons of different charts and family trees that he's made. And I would not be surprised if that's in there. No, it's not in there. Not in there. But yeah. So let's see. Okay, let me continue on. Starting to get people flowing in. Hello, everybody, just getting in here. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Oh, wait, did I miss it? I just saw this. The free stuff. It was on the first page of free stuff. Oh, yeah, you're right. How about that? So. There we go. Yeah. So basically, he figured out that there was this matrilineal connection between all these different houses and stuff, and focuses all on the women. It's a very, very interesting project, and very cool how you can kind of see the connections for everybody. Oh wow, Toodaloo Fruitaloo, new member. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Now you get access to all the fun GeneaVlogger emojis. Actually, I think there's a few I need to update in there. So very cool. Yeah. All right. So continuing on. So we've talked about DNA testing, talked about useful charts, and now we're going to get into where I have the most stuff, and that's books. Lots and lots of books to talk about. A ton of them that are on sale, mostly on Amazon. I think I was able to link some of the books through YouTube Shopping. And let's see, do I have any that I have on YouTube Shopping? Not really. Let me unpin this. I'm just going to do automatic pin. There we go. So it should change around. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Genealogy Standards. This is an older version of it. If you are trying to kind of have a handy resource book and also to learn about the genealogical proof standard, Genealogy Standards is it. This is by the Board for Certification of Genealogists, BCG. So you can see right there. There we go. So great book, especially if you ever want to become a professional genealogist or you want to actually like write about genealogy and things. It's a guide on how to write proofs properly so that they meet the standard with which we can, all agree as genealogists. Granted, I think that's pretty dang hard to get a whole bunch of genealogists to agree. So it's on sale right now. It's usually $24. It's 34% off. So $15.94. So let me put that into chat. So you can go and get the Genealogy Standards. Now it's the 2nd edition revised. So that one was March 2019. Mine's the 50th anniversary edition, which is from 2014. So I'm pretty sure I got that like 2015, 2016 or something like that. So, but very, very useful book. If you've never looked into the genealogy proof standard, you really should. Even if you don't want to become a professional, it's just kind of a good thing to know. And when I was doing Mr. Beat's Family Tree, and we were going to do a live stream together on his channel, before the live stream, we obviously were talking and trying to get everything set up. And somehow it came up about genealogy standards and the genealogical proof standard. And I remember Mr. Beat going, that is so awesome. That is such a cool, like, understanding of how to go about reasoning. And he was like, honestly, that's something that I think they should apply to like everything, like just not just genealogy. Granted, some of it is very genealogy based. So like there's 5 core tenets of the genealogical proof standard. So the first, reasonably exhaustive research, emphasizing original records, providing participants information for all of evidence that might answer a genealogist's question about an identity, relationship, event, or situation. Complete and accurate citations, which we're going to get into complete and accurate citations with a book all about that. I think that was the one that I thought was on sale, but might not be. I don't know. Either way, a good book to talk about. Then tests through a process of analysis and correlation of all sources, information, items, and evidence contributing to an answer to a genealogical question or problem. Resolution of conflict. So if there's a contradiction of evidence, you have one record that says grandpa was born in 1927, you have another that says 1925, you got to resolve which one do you believe and why. So context and thing. And then lastly, soundly reasoned, coherently written conclusion based on the strongest available evidence. So that's basically the 5 core tenets. And then this book basically just goes into all of that in depth. So very, very worthwhile. So the next book I'll talk about flows right out of that, and that is this Evidence Explained. You can see mine is pretty used. It's a lot of genealogy reports that this has been sitting right next to me for many a year. And Evidence Explained is the book for how to do proper genealogy citations. It's by Elizabeth Schoen Mills which anyone that wants to try to become a professional genealogist, you're going to quickly learn that a lot of the most major publications that professional genealogists will utilize and point to for the next to utilize are books by Elizabeth Shown Mills. This goes into every little thing that has to do with citing sources. This is of the 3rd edition revised, which, funny enough, you can even see on the top. It came with a CD in it. I can even see there's like you probably can't see it on the camera, but there's like this like glue sort of that you can see on the side. I think that was where it was attached, or maybe it was this. I don't know. Either way, if you want to learn citations, this is it. And if you're into history citations and stuff, you can read that book to get yourself really angry. I actually was showing the information about how to cite, proper genealogy citations to Joseph Hall Patton, the cynical historian, and he was just getting so angry about it. He hated it. He was like, this is the stupidest way to cite stuff. Why would you do this? Why would you do that? And he just was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen someone hate so much on citation styles. And like, I thought it made sense. I was like, well, because of this. He's like, I don't remember all his arguments, but yeah, so definitely something that you should check out. Along those lines, if you do want to become a professional genealogist, here's another one of those books that really is something you should get. Obviously, sorry, hopefully that wasn't too much of a shock. Everyone accidentally smacked my mic with this book. But as you can see, good old green screen cutting it through. But Elizabeth Shown Mills, Professional Genealogy, very useful, talking about just all sorts of stuff in terms of being a professional genealogist, how to do report writing, continuing education, ethics, the pricing and business structure, and just, I don't know, all sorts of stuff. Research procedure. It talks about everything. This is an older one. Like a lot of the books that I have from when like becoming a professional, they're mostly from earlier this year, or not earlier this year. Earlier last decade. Just had like a little brain fart there. So I'm pretty sure most of them have updates. So genealogy, I know I had it pulled up, so let's see. I guess this is maybe the same one, but yeah, so it's not. I thought it was on sale, but it's not. But still worthwhile to check out if you do want to become a professional genealogist. All right, I need to make sure I stack these books and stuff so that it's not going to fall. I just realized it's like I'm almost playing Jenga with all this stuff on my desk. All right. So kind of similar lines, but a little bit different. This is a book that I really highly suggest anybody that's getting into genetic genealogy does or gets. That is The Family Tree Guide to DNA Testing and Genetic Genealogy by Blaine Bettinger. This is really a major resource to learn about genetic genealogy in depth, learn about a lot of various in-depth tools, and especially just to have something, something on hand to reference. It's a pretty good book. It's pretty good. It's pretty updated. The second edition, this one's from 2019. And let's see. I think I actually have it linked. I do have it linked through the YouTube Family Tree, the YouTube shopping. But it's also through Amazon. And Amazon, it's on sale right now for Black Friday. It's usually $33.99, but it's 46% off, and it's only $18.44. That's actually, I think, one of the bigger sales I've seen so far. Let's put that in the chat. So big sale on this one. And if you do want to become a professional genetic genealogist, this is definitely something you want to get. Definitely something. My local genealogy society has a DNA SIG, uses that book every meeting. Yeah, I mean, it really is such a good book. And if anyone else is part of local genealogy societies, a lot of these books that I recently went through, this one, the DNA Guide, Evidence Explained, Genealogy Standards. I mean, these are all things that I think every genealogy society that has like a library or a, thing of books or whatever, they should have those on hand. So there's a lot of other amazing genealogy books as well. I'm, kind of focusing on a lot of the ones that I have, especially ones that I can kind of talk about a bit because I've used them. But as I mentioned before, if you go through any of my Amazon links and then you get anything on Amazon, it helps me out a whole bunch because I still get commission. As long as you don't click on somebody else's Amazon affiliate link after mine. All right, so next book I'm going to talk about, kind of still along the same lines of like, if you're trying to become a professional genealogist, this is a pretty helpful book. It's Research Like a Pro, a Genealogist Guide by Diana Elder with Nicole Dyer. This was actually a book I got within the past couple of years. It does look like it's an edition from 2018, so not sure if they've done many updates or anything like that. But it's just a really good book to read through, and kind of you basically get an in-depth view of the steps that they're taking to do their research. And so even if you are a professional genealogist, you've had years and years and years of research, it's great to see other ways that people will think through solving the genealogical problems. And that's super useful for your own research. So, they talk a lot about, different ways to organize your research in here, which I will say that's probably one of my biggest, what do I say, downsides? I don't know. But one of the places that I'm not the greatest is my organization skills. Like, that's something that definitely could be improved. I've worked on it for many years. I think I've gotten slightly better over time. But that, like, for me, that was one of the helpful things, was kind of from this book, was, organizing things, logging the way you log your research. And yeah, so very, very, very useful guide. And so that one is one that I do not have. I don't have a pinned version of it on there, but I know that I have it in. Oh my gosh, Amazon! Seriously. For some reason, Amazon has had it where, like, if I try to highlight something and then delete it so I can write in something, it like highlights it for a second and then stops. Oh, I hate that. So this book, the Research Like a Pro book, is on a 21% sale. So usually $21.99. Currently, it is $17.34. There we go. All right. So, okay. let me see what people are talking about. Pinellas Genealogy Society meetings are online. Anyone can join. A lot of societies online nowadays, but I think it's still very worthwhile if you have any local societies that meet in person. I don't know, just hanging out with other genealogists, chatting about stuff. There's just something about it. Maybe it's just being in that same mindset of people that you're around. Because I talk about, genealogy stuff or family tree stuff or whatever around, non-genealogists, but I always have to kind of tone it down a bit because it's like I don't want to, bore them. Even I have that moment where I'm talking to people and I can just see their eyes glazing over, and it's like, all right, let me stop talking to you about this for a second. So, all right, I see people mentioning TommyGen. They are currently on sale, and I actually think, I wonder if I can add one in here. I think I have a code. Yeah, I do. Okay, so I do have a code here through is that right? Yeah. Through YouTube Shopping. But I think I also have one. Now, I do not have any experience with TommyGen. I think, if I remember correctly, they might be the company that I heard about that. I think they've started to do actual DNA matching. I don't know. For those who are experienced with it, let us know. Because that's really the thing. If a company does not have, yeah, there's the link for TommyGen. If the company does not have a matching database, I really don't use it because then it doesn't have any serious genealogical usefulness, which is what I want. I don't need, generalizations of what my ancestry is. I want names, I want dates, I want stories. I want to know. So, yeah. But yeah, if anyone knows if TommyGen does have that, so, but I mean, it seems like, people that I recognize from my chat all the time are talking about it in good light. So, yeah. All right, so let's see. Neek, sadly, the link for Ancestry DNA still is standard 76 euro. Is that euros? Is that? Yeah, that is euros. Okay. It's like doubting myself for a second. 76 euros, including shipping to the Netherlands, but I just saw Amazon UK has a deal for about 50 euros plus 12 euros shipping per order. Amazon Germany has a deal for a few euros more. Interesting. And hello, Irene. Glad you're able to make it. Yeah, it is very cold here in North Carolina. According to my watch, it's 45 degrees outside, which I think is like, what is that, like 5 degrees Celsius or something like that? Not even. But tonight it will be dropping to below freezing. So it's going to be like -5 Celsius tonight, 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. All right. TommyGen has also DNA relatives, but it will be fewer than 23andMe or MyHeritage. Yeah, they definitely will have a smaller database. That's good to know. I mean, the thing about every single database is there's going to be unique people that are only in that database. So if you aren't in every single database that has relative matching, there could be a relative that's the one that is the breakthrough for your brick wall. And if you don't test on that same database and they're only on that one database, you're not going to match them. So good to know. Good to know. TommyGen allows autosomal uploads for free. That's good. So yeah, maybe I need to play around with TommyGen. That is definitely a company I do not know as much about. And a lot of you that I see in here all the time that I know, you're knowledgeable enough to, know the good ones versus the bad ones. That's good to hear. I'll definitely need to check it out. Lori Allen, any good references for German genealogy early 1800s? Well, I guess that would also depend on where in Germany, especially, present day Germany versus Germany in the 1800s, because there was a lot of stuff that, parts of Germany that weren't Germany back then. So that'll vary. The thing I always say when it comes to trying to find good, references for German stuff or any sort of stuff for any population group is going to the Family Search Wiki and searching. So, if you know where in Germany, I would suggest that. You know, if you know it's, you know, Hamburg, Germany, we'll go and look up on Family Search Wiki. What do they have for Hamburg, Germany? It's not the only place to go for that kind of stuff, but I think it's a great starting point. But it really will come down to the more specific you can get with where they were, the better. You know, if they were in Schleswig-Holstein region, well, it's going to be, they might not be in Germany if, you know, it's a, you know, 1820, I think. Because it's what what was the Second War was like in the 1860s, I think. I can't remember. I think yeah. So something like that. But either way, oh, funny enough, I did say Hamburg, and it is Hamburg area. So yeah, so I mean, I would suggest going on to the Family Search Wiki to start out, and then depending on, you know, population groups that you're coming from, you may want to try to look into more specific resources like that. I don't really have anything off the top of my head. I've done a bit of research in Hamburg for some of my Sephardic side that's been out there. And then I've done some research just from the like departure list from Hamburg, because there's a major port for a lot of people that left for the United States. But yeah, beyond that, I don't have anything off the top of my head, but hopefully that's helpful in getting some ideas to you. But all right, so now we're going to talk about some more niche books. Some that, you know, well, I guess it's basically just kind of two books I have left. They're both very niche. So the first one, well, I guess the first one's really the more niche one, and that's this one, Hebrews of the Portuguese Nation, Conversos and Community in Early Modern Amsterdam, and this is by Miriam Bodian. And this is a really good book if you want to learn about the Portuguese Jewish community of Amsterdam, as well as the connection with the larger Hebrew Portuguese nation, Portuguese Jewish nation, La Nacional. And yeah, so this one's a really, really good book. Highly recommend, as I mentioned, if you want to learn about Sephardic Jews, and just if you want to learn about the Western Sephardic diaspora, the Jews that were the ones that went from Spain to Portugal in 1492. And then when Portugal enacted their own Inquisition, they were forced to become conversos and crypto Jews, and basically had to pretend to be Catholic, but were secretly still trying to be Jewish, and eventually had to make their way out of Portugal and made their way to all these areas like Hamburg, London, Amsterdam, Livorno, Bayonne, Bordeaux, and then as well the New World, Curacao, Suriname, New York, Recife, Brazil for a time, and then elsewhere in the New World. But yeah, so Hebrews of the Portuguese Nation. There actually, I had a whole bunch of books on the Portuguese Jews, but I figured I'd just do one for one. My, you know, as you can tell of all the stuff I've gone through, it's yeah, it's kind of, it's a lot to have on my desk at once. Now this is only like on a real small sale. It's only like $1 off. So it's usually $22. It's only $21 now, but still, put that in there. And then Berivar, yeah, somewhat of a niche question on Ancestry DNA. I just noticed and wondered if you've come across the same matches I have, which mixed ethnicity with less Ashkenazi get punished far more by timber. It's like they don't believe it could be real because they're not fully Ashkenazi. I have entire sides of my family, including second cousins once removed, chopped from 82 centimorgans to 9 centimorgans because they are only 12% Ashkenazi. Now, I don't know off the top of my head necessarily of anything that would point to specifically going after, you know, people with Jewish ancestry, but, you know, a lot of my experience is mostly working on Jewish profiles in Ancestry. I've worked on a lot of non-Jewish profiles in Ancestry as well, but the most in-depth work I've done have been on Jewish profiles. And that is one thing I've noticed, is that timber affects them a lot. For those who are not familiar with the timber algorithm, it is a thing that Ancestry employs into their DNA matching system, where it does what they call downgrading of segments. And they only downgrade segments when it's a match that's 90 centimorgans or less. So if you match someone at 90 centimorgans, they will apply the timber algorithm, and then it's going to downgrade it. So basically, they're trying to cut out segments that have a high likelihood of being false segments, because they can kind of get an idea of that based on piling up regions and things like that. But due to issues of endogamy, endogamy being population groups that marry and have children with only others within that same population group for many generations and generations. And so that causes the people of that population group to share a lot of DNA because they're related in a lot of various extra ways. And then when you have something like timber algorithm on Ancestry, it can cause it to, or it seems to cause it to downgrade things much more than if you were to look at a person that was from a non-endogamous population. Hopefully that all makes sense. It's so hard to describe all this stuff sometimes and make it easy to understand, easily digestible. But yeah, with the timber algorithm, in my experience, I do notice that it is very big differences in what we'll see from the weighted versus unweighted. But 82 centimorgans and 9 centimorgans has to be one of the largest drops that I've personally heard about or seen. I feel like most of the time I'd see, 82 centimorgans to like 36 centimorgans or something like that. But 82 centimorgans and 9, wow. I would be curious, of that 82 centimorgans, does it say how many segments? Because that'd be crazy if it, or that might make a lot of sense if it's especially like, 82 centimorgans across, 14 segments. And it's like, okay, wow, that's a lot of very small segments. Maybe that's why they're downgrading it. So, hopefully that was helpful. SJ, weird that the historian got upset about evidence explained style, since my understanding was that it was just based on Chicago manual of style. Yeah, it's based on Chicago manual of style, but then it's slightly manipulated, because a big thing for genealogists is we don't want to necessarily just cite the source. We want to cite the place we found the source. Because, when we're talking about primary documents like we deal with mostly in genealogy, the archive or the repository is important to that. Because one of the things that you want to do with a genealogy report, so if you're creating a report and you're citing things, the idea is that you want to make it so that another genealogist doesn't have to recreate your work. They can read through your report, utilizing the citations, and basically know everything they need to know. So like if you read through a report and you find a citation and you're like, well, where is it? Okay, this, record, they say it exists, but where is it? And so that's a big part of the citations. And I remember that was one of the things that he was like hated, that he hated on, was that, why would you include in the citation the source of where you got it? So every Ancestry record that you get, you're supposed to cite that you got it off of Ancestry, and that it's a database, and that you have the URL, and it's there's a specific way. And so I don't know if he saw it as clunky or too much information or what, but I remember that was one of the things that he was really like, what? Why would you include that? I don't need to include the archive that I found it. I just need to include that I found the document, and that's that's the document, or so, I don't know. Okay, some more info from Bear Var. 9 centimorgans over 6 segments, longest 41 segments, or with 41 centimorgans. Okay, so 9 centimorgans over 6 segments. I'm guessing the 6 segments. Yeah, I don't know. That's so weird that they read it like that. 9 centimorgans over 6 segments. So I guess, does that mean that it was 82 centimorgans over 6 segments originally? Which actually is a pretty good average segment size if you are dealing with someone with Jewish ancestry. Granted, I know you said they're only 12%, so a great grandparent that's Jewish ancestry, but one way that we can overcome issues of endogamy is by focusing on segments. The closer related you are to someone, you usually have larger segments. So if the issue from endogamy is that you're related in a lot of distant ways, then if that means that those distant ways mean smaller segments that add up to a larger total. So focusing on larger segments, that's the average segment size, helps you identify the matches that are more than likely truly closely related versus having an inflated total amount that makes them seem more closely related. So the average segment size I like to go with is 10 centimorgans. Other Jewish genealogists prefer higher amounts. If you're doing this for other endogamous populations, that will vary. If you're doing it for like Cajun or Creole ancestry, then you're probably going to be doing like 15 centimorgan segment averages or 20 centimorgan segment averages. But if you're dealing with French Canadian, then maybe you don't need to worry about it as much. If you're dealing with Pacific Islander, I've never really dealt with Pacific Islander personally. I've seen results and oh my gosh, pages of like 300 and 200 centimorgan matches. So I imagine you have to focus on like 30 centimorgan segments just to make sure, if that's possible. I don't even know. And then must be 6 segments on the unweighted 82 centimorgans. I know I'm related to them as second cousin once removed, so the unweighted amount and average makes sense. Need to get them to transfer GEDmatch to see what's happening. Yeah, that a lot of people really are not fans of Timber. I'm kind of on the fence because I see things like this that I'm like, okay, Timber is making this more difficult. But I've also seen cases where, well, actually, I don't know if I've ever necessarily seen anything that really shows that Timber is helpful. But I guess I just kind of assume that it must have some validity to it actually taking away likely false matches. Because when you do get into very low amounts of shared matches or matches with low amounts of shared DNA, then you do have a higher likelihood that that relationship is not true. So we talked about it, I think, last week as well, is that, when it comes to segments, the reason they use 6 centimorgans or 7 centimorgans as a base is because as soon as you get below 6 centimorgan segments, the likelihood of it being a false match gets really high. And I don't remember the exact numbers, so I'm kind of just pulling them out of the air for this, but just as an example of kind of how it works is like, 7 centimorgans, it's like 99.9% true match. 6 centimorgans, 99.5% true match. 5 centimorgans, 80% true match. 4 centimorgans, 50% true match. And then, it just like drops. So like I said, not the exact numbers. I last week, Paul Baltzer, who's a really amazing investigative genetic genealogist himself, was trying to post the link to the study that has that graph I'm talking about. I don't know if he was able to successfully, because I'm sure a lot of YouTube gets really weird about people posting links. Even me on my own channel, I'll post links to stuff and they'll auto delete my comment. It's just like, what are you doing? But yeah, so that's kind of what it's supposed to be fighting. Oh, interesting. I'm not familiar with Family Lockett's webinar series, but from SJ, Family Lockett's webinar series are good and are on special for Black Friday. They also have sales on their AI and Airtables guide. Family Lockett equals researching like a pro. Okay, so that's Diana Elder and Nicole Dyer, and there we go. Family Lockett genealogists. Thank you very much for clarifying that, SJ. So, yeah, I can't remember if I've ever met them or not. I don't know if I've ever met Diana Elder or Nicole Dyer, but I feel like I might have. It's so hard to remember too, because I'm sure if I met them, it was probably at Roots Tech. And anyone that goes to Roots Tech, if you're meeting people, it is hard to keep track, especially me. I'm such a, I'm a social butterfly when I go to the conferences. I still need to go back into my hotel room at the end of the night, like decompress, very much an ambivert, but like, yeah, you meet so many people and you get lost with it. And then if you do multiple conferences a year, it gets really hard to remember everyone. All right, so the last book that I'm going to talk about is really the most different of all of them in terms of genealogy book, and that is Nathan Dillon Goodwin's book. So this one this is Hiding the Past. This is the first book from what he calls the forensic genealogist story, and basically has a couple of different series, and they're all kind of based around forensic genealogy, really investigative genetic genealogy a lot, or at least the ones that I've kind of read. But if you're really into kind of nonfiction stuff and you want that combined with genealogy, and especially if you're like true crime, nonfiction genealogy, these are really, really cool books. I'm pretty sure they're on sale. I know I have it pinned here for YouTube, whatchamacallit, the YouTube shopping. But let's see. I know I had it pulled up before. Nathan Dillon Goodwin. And I am curious if anyone has read Nathan Dillon Goodwin's books, what you thought about them. And so, oh, wow. I didn't realize they, I guess they aren't on sale. At least this one's not on sale. Thought all books were on sale. Okay, so some of them were on sale, and it looks like his next book that's coming out you can pre-order, and that's on sale. So here, let's see. Can I do a link to just his like page of books? I think I can. So yeah, so there's a link to Nathan Dillon Goodwin's books page, so you can go and check out a bunch of them. So he's got the Forensic Genealogist series. Actually, I'll just pull this up on stream. So he's got the Forensic Genealogist series, which that's this one that I have. The Venator Cold Case series. That's UK paperback editions, and then I thought he had another series. Maybe he just has the three. But yeah, these are really, really good books. I know I've heard from a lot of people they enjoy it. Oh, okay, it looks like the Kindle editions and stuff might be on sale. I knew I'd seen it on sale somewhere. So yeah, lots and lots of cool stuff. So now I've gone through my my pile of stuff, which actually worked out pretty perfectly to an hour. But let's see. But I can okay. I don't have anything else I got going on today. So yeah, so if anyone wants to kind of chat more about some of the stuff that I've already talked about, or ask questions about any of it, or just chat about genealogy, DNA testing in general, stuff going on with the genealogy world, just we'll kind of roll this into kind of like the regular, streams of, just chatting and stuff. And yeah, especially so many books I went through. Yeah. I do not have any genealogy books. I have a load of books that have my ancestors in them. Oh, actually, I do have a genealogy book, but it's English genealogy. Haven't read it. Got it for £1. Ah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it can be very worthwhile. It's not quite the same nowadays with the internet. Back in the day, before the internet, or even in the early days of the internet, you really did need to get a lot of books because they had the best information. Now I feel like you can find like in all honesty, a lot of these books that I've shown, you can basically find a lot of the same or similar information online. Not fully, but it's still really nice to have that like reference guide. I think the big one for me more than any of them is a reference, Evidence Explained. If you were writing professional reports, or you want to write anything that has proper genealogy citations, I mean, this is the book. And most genealogists that you will find that have this book will have it like this, where it's, they have it marked. I've got it marked for, let's see. Oh yeah. Content page. I have it marked for the census records, local and state license registrations, Yad Vashem, Social Security and manifests, military records. I have a glossary marked, and then the index marked. And I know over the years there's been more that I'm like, oh, maybe I need to mark that one too. So yeah, I mean, it's really, really really, really useful. But of course, if you're not really wanting to write reports, it's not going to be that useful. But for those that, for anyone that kind of enjoys just reading and stuff, I think that's where the Nathan Dillon Goodwin books come in. You get kind of that fun fictional genealogy hit. So yeah, I definitely I need to get more of his books. I haven't read that many of them, and yeah. That's funny. Layered citations makes lots of sense to me. Yeah. All right. Let's see. If a compiled genealogy references its sources, should I also reference those sources or just the compiled genealogy? So just the compiled genealogy, unless you're specifically referencing one of those sources. So like, I mean, I guess that's the way that I would do it. If I'm like referencing the conclusion of a book, so a compiled genealogy reference, then I'd be referencing from that book. And so it's kind of like with genealogy, you have to like almost follow the sources as well. But I think in certain cases, you may need to cite the original source if you basically go back and utilize that original source. I think the best thing is, the more that you cite that you've used, the better. If you only use the compiled genealogy book, then that's what you need to reference because you didn't use the other. And part of that is important because not all people do proper citations. In the video that I did talking about a lot of the mistakes and errors in the book, The Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean, there were a couple of citations that I showed where in the book, he actually cites the original citation, but gets it wrong, whether on purpose or not, I don't know. But if you did not reference the original book, but you only referenced the other book, the book that cites the original book, and that book gets it wrong, and then you get it wrong, but you cite the original source, and it looks like you got it wrong. But if you do it, hopefully this is making sense. It's kind of like blah, 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 jumping all over the place. But like that is the thing with some of these sources is that they're not all right. So if you aren't referencing the original, if you never looked at the original thing, I don't really think there's a point in referencing it because that wasn't your reference. The reference was the secondary source. So Gypsy Rose Divination. Hi, have you seen the Hitler DNA program yet? I've seen the first episode, haven't seen the second. Oh, it's on YouTube. Okay. I wondered what you thought to it about the DNA testing on the sofa in his bunker. So I thought it was very, very interesting. And I actually know people that were involved in that. So Danny Helwig, who is the he is the owner of Genealogy Legacies, the company that does artifact testing that consumers can send their artifacts in to get tested. So if you have your own bloodstained couch, you can cut that out and send it to them. Great. I think if you send in anything bloodstained, they'll be a little like, what? But people mostly send like, dentures, glasses, envelopes that are sealed and stuff like that. But he is the one that actually, sequenced the DNA into a genealogy profile. So all of those steps that they were doing were all of the things that I experienced when I was working as an investigative genetic genealogist, and especially being able to work as the lead investigative genetic genealogist at DNA Labs International. I was working directly with the people in the lab who were sequencing the profiles, who were extracting the DNA, and that whole process, as well as I was getting an in-depth view of the reportings and things like that, because I was also part of the admin team while I was doing my investigative work. And basically, everything they did on that show was exactly like I would expect it to be done. They got the sample, they took that sample and then sent it in for the initial extraction and analysis. So that was in the first episode where they're like, okay, we're going to extract it. We're going to see, is it an unknown male donor? And have we obtained enough DNA that we could then sequence it? So they do that. They say, yes, it is an unknown male. So that confirms it's male. And now it's enough DNA. It's also enough DNA to go and send it in to get sequencing. And so that's where Danny comes in. When they did that, when they actually were doing that work, it was before they were genealogy. Oh my God, I literally just said it. Genealogy Legacies, or Legacy Genealogy. Maybe I don't know. But they used to be Keepsake DNA. And then the company that Keepsake was owned by was Intermountain Forensics. Well, Intermountain Forensics was bought out by the company I used to work for, DNA Labs International. So actually not too long after I left my position as lead investigative genetic genealogist, so I could do content creation full time and, work on my own and all of that. That was when they bought Keepsake DNA and Intermountain Forensics specifically. And so for a while, Danny Helwig was part of DLI, DNA Labs International. And I think you can even find some YouTube videos of him talking about like when he joined and what he was looking forward to that and all that. But now he left DNA Labs as well after a time, and then created a new company of his, which is now Genetic Legacies. So all right, I'm getting off topic. Basically, with the Hitler DNA programming, from what I've seen of the Hitler DNA program, everything is what I would expect. There's nothing off in terms of it being overblown necessarily. I think the only thing that's really getting overblown is from the media, where they're taking the findings, and maybe the program kind of does lay it on a little too thick without, the full nuance. But, the findings of like, oh, well, Hitler had this disease and blah, blah. It's not necessarily that they know he had the disease. It's just that he has the markers that would indicate he is likely to have that disease. But as we all know, if you've taken 23andMe's, traits or health or ancestries or whatever, not all of those are correct. For the traits, for me, it says I'm unlikely to have red hair. Well, they're wrong, so it's like, there's a lot. It's very nuanced when you get into genes and what DNA markers are activating within those genes and, all of that stuff. It's a very complicated dance. But with all of that said, it's still like, the thing proving he is not Jewish. 100% no, that is true. I 100% know that the way they did that testing, the Y chromosome testing, from extracting the DNA to sequencing the DNA to then analyzing the whole genome sequence they did, which I believe that's what they did, was a whole genome sequence. So they, not just the 700,000 SNPs, they're trying to sequence everything, all 3.2 billion base pairs or whatever. And they were able to get enough of a profile. It was degraded, but with enough of a profile, which usually means over 80% call read, then that indicates to me that, that's a good profile to work with. I had multiple cases that I solved where I was utilizing, 81% call rate. I want to say there was a case I solved that was like in the high 70s. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, with the Y chromosome, it definitely proved that Hitler does not have Jewish ancestry, because the question of his Jewish ancestry always had to do with his purely paternal line. And basically that it was like his grandfather or his great-grandfather wasn't actually the biological grandfather, and that was this other guy who was Jew. But with the Y-DNA, it proves very conclusively that, yes, he connects into the exact family we'd expect him to if he was a descendant of his grandfather, Hitler, his Hitler grandfather. So weird to say. So I have yet to see the second episode. I'm very curious to see that. When I saw the first episode, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I got to work on that. That would be so cool to be able to say, like I had a part in that. So if anyone's working on that still and you want another genealogist to be part of the team, hit me up. I'd love to be a part. In fact, anyone that's got a cool project going on, granted, I probably would need to get paid too, can't just do everything pro bono, but yeah. Aunt Jane, where do I begin with writing a general genealogy blog? Honestly, just start. It's been a long time since I've written blogs. I used to have my blog that was sephardicgenealogy.blogspot.com. For anyone that saw my recent video about quantifying my genealogy, how many ancestors did I identify in the past 10 years? It was based on that blog post. But it's the same advice that I give to anyone that's, that asks me like, about getting started on YouTube. You just have to start. Sometimes it starts slow. Sometimes you might have to restart. But until you actually start, there's so many things to it that you really don't think about that you kind of start to get into. You start learning about tagging things and keywords, search engine optimization. Now, granted, you might know about a lot of this stuff already, but really it's just, you just start writing. And then along with writing, you want to, get it out there, market it. So it's pretty easy, in my opinion, to market a lot of genealogy stuff these days because there's so many genealogy forums and groups and places that you can post stuff like that. And you do have to be careful. You don't want to go overboard. Like I always try to play careful. If I have a video I release and I want to put it out somewhere, I want to make sure that the places I put it makes sense. I'm not going to make a video about, tracing Sephardic Jews in Amsterdam and not use any DNA, but then post it to a DNA forum. It's like, don't do that. Some people do. Some people literally are like, oh, well, genealogy. Okay, I'll post it on everything related to genealogy. Actually, I don't know if people do that as much with genealogy stuff necessarily, but yeah. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. But yeah, I mean, I'd say just get started, really. Okay, for the Nathan Dillon Goodwin books, yes, I've read them all and love them. Most genealogy mysteries are disappointing, so was happy to discover him. I don't think I've known of any other genealogy mystery writers. But yeah, I don't know. Tell us about some of them, maybe. Jose, not too late. I mean, I'm still going. I don't know if I'll go that much longer, but yeah. Yeah, curious if his profile is or will be on Wi-Fi. I kind of doubt it will be, but you never know. Maybe, maybe at some point they'll be like, you know what, for science sake, let's make it available to the public. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, SJ, other helpful books I have are the Dollarhide Map Guide to the Census. The Newberry site is as good or better, but hard copy is nice. He has great migration path. Me too. I have red hair, but 23andMe thinks I have black hair because they only check MC1R gene. Yeah, and that's part of it too. It's so nuanced, and a lot of the 23andMe's and those ones, they don't test all the variations. But yeah, still, there's so much going on with every little thing. All right, Jose. I know I'm used to Jose asking questions that are always kind of like, I don't know, a little too specific. If I have French ancestry through my late great-great-grandfather, through my Mexican grandmother, on my dad's side, maybe my late great-great-grandfather was either an ancestor by marriage or blood. Yeah, see, I'm not quite sure what you're asking there. If I have French ancestry through my late great-great-grandfather, through my Mexican grandmother on my dad's side, maybe my late grandfather was either an ancestor by marriage or blood. I mean, I'm pretty sure there were people from France that migrated to Mexico. Yeah, I don't think I fully get the question. But all right, let's see. Oh yeah, good point. All the genealogy shows are starting soon again. Yes, starting soon again. Relative Race is ending its latest season this weekend, I believe, on Sunday. It'll be day 10. In my opinion, day 10 episodes of Relative Race really, I don't know, they're just not quite as good. Like, they really do need to make something with day 10 where they're meeting relatives at the end to really have it like a big, like, oh my gosh. Because it really does feel like for Relative Race, like the season, it's like awesome. Day 9 and then day 10, it's just like not so interesting at all. Because it's just, I don't know, it's just race. It's just the games part, and I don't know. Personally, I'm not as big into the game stuff, but yeah. So Roots Tech's got some a new season coming around, which I'll be interested to see if that lasts longer with everything that's gone on with the PBS funding. I don't know if is Who Do You Think You Are getting more stuff coming out? I don't know if they are. Maybe they are. I don't know. Oh wait, it's already over. Did I not realize that they already did episode 10? For some reason, I thought episode 10 was this weekend. Maybe I'm just off with it. It's been a busy couple of weeks for me. Lots going on, personal wise, and then trying to get stuff going for the channel wise, and so much stuff. Yeah. And then Birivar, ancestry DNA traits are the worst. It's not even mostly right. It's just completely random. I'm most definitely not a morning person. Yeah, I am definitely not a morning person either. I don't know what they gave for me. But yeah. So, all right. Well, I think with that, I think I'll probably get it ended here soon. I've been going for just under an hour and a half. Tissues flying everywhere. So, yeah, it's oh yeah, last weekend the win was heartbreaking and tender. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to watch and see. Because every new season, I'm always hopeful, like maybe they finally did it in a way that's really cool, and it's definitely better than it used to be. But I don't know, still not quite there. But who knows? Maybe this season. I'm looking forward to seeing my Heritage 2X whole genome sequence. Curious how the results compare to microarray results. Yeah, I'm really curious about that. And I think more than anything, everybody's really curious about the next, couple of years as that database builds and we finally get a way to compare whole genome sequencing. But I do really, really wish, really wish that they did up it to 3x coverage. And part of that has to do with, I remember there was a comment someone put on the live stream. I talked about that, where basically they were like, with 3x coverage, at the very least, you're getting a majority rule. With 2x coverage, if you get one spot where it reads it, A on one read and T on the other read, you're not going to know what's going on. But if you get, 3 reads, at least you've got, okay, read it A twice, T once, we can go with that, or, however it is, process of elimination sort of thing. Yeah. Okay, Jose, I was wondering if my late great-great-grandfather on my grandmother's side is frozen by blood and was an ancestor by marriage. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's something you could just tell. I guess it's, it's all possible. French by blood. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's you'd have to research it. Oh, Sherry, thank you. Love the new shirts. Yeah, a great place to shout out again. For those that want to get merch, I am running a Black Friday special, 15% off. Just put in the code GeneaFri. So there's the link, and then there's the code. I also, if you look at the top of the page, for my website, it says that, which actually I'm not sharing, whatever. So definitely do that. And then all the other stuff that I went through for the stream, down in the description, I have the links and stuff. And like I said as well, if you aren't planning to get any genealogy stuff, but you are planning to get stuff on Amazon, definitely click through my links and then you'll get what you need. Help support the channel because I get commission. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And then helps me be able to keep doing this and helping everybody on the live streams. So thank you, everybody. Fijne vrijdag. Tot volgende vrijdag. Tot volgende weekend. See you all next weekend. See you all next Friday. Just a reminder, every Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be streaming. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone, as well. And I will see you all next Friday. All right, bye.